Hey everyone, welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to be using two-point perspective to draw out our names in Autodesk Inventor. So we're going to create a two-point perspective view, and it's going to look really cool if you can do it. So go ahead, follow along, and if you have any questions, let me know. So go ahead, go New File, and select a standard.ipt. And we're going to start a 2D sketch, select the XY plane, and then we're going to draw every 2D perspective or two-point perspective like we always do. We start with a horizon line on the top. Over here, there's a tool called Point. I'd like you to select that and place down 2 points on your line. And now we're going to draw out our box. And something I might have mentioned before is that the box consists of construction lines. So we're actually going to click on Line, but then we're going to select this option over here, the construction line option. And what that's going to do is it's going to make our lines like dashed. So if I draw this in, you can notice that the line is dashed, and that's a construction line. So it doesn't really exist. It's just there to help us uh, draw. So I'm going to draw the edge of my box, and now I'm going to connect the points over to the points here so that this can act as my wingspan. So it looks something like that. Now, the name or my name is going to go on this side, so we're going to say this is going to be the front of the box. It could have been here, but I just think this one will work best. So in terms of like the length of where I need to draw the top of my box, I guess I'll draw it like up here to that point, and then it's going to be much more narrower on this side, so I guess I'm going to draw it from there to that point. So you can see what the top of the box for my name looks like. And now I'm going to draw 2 vertical lines. So one there, as well as one here. So this is what the box looks like. And now that that's in place, make sure you turn off construction lines. And we're going to go ahead and draw a name. So it's going to be as close as we can get it. But of course, there are some limitations. So I'm going to use the line tool to draw my first letter, which is a P. I'm going to use the construction lines to kind of help me. And remember, vertical lines are fine, and lines that go to the construction or the vanishing points are fine until you run into like a problem where you have an arc or an angled line, and then just do it to the best of your ability. So I've drawn what I can of the first letter of my name, which is P. And now, since that's about as far as I can go, I'm going to just do my best to try and add in that arc. So I used an arc tool to draw that. And then I'm going to try and connect it. So that's the P. And let me see if I could use the offset tool here to offset this. So maybe that will work. Then I'm going to do the A. And the A is angled. It's not exactly angled at the vanishing points. Because it's angled prior, it's not going to be connected to those vanishing points. But I'm going to draw it to the best of my ability, and the tops are still going to, move towards that. Whoops. So on and so forth. So something like that would be okay. And then let me use the offset tool again. Try. I'll get it up to there, and then I'll trim this off. Okay, so that's the clunky looking A. And then we're going to go for a U. And a U is just going to be made with the line tool. So I'm going to try and draw in 2 vertical lines. So that's one vertical line. And let's say here's the second one. I'm going to move this one up a little. And I'm going to use the arc tool, but I'm going to use the arc tangent. That's the second one. Let me show you how this works. you click on one end and then you can kind of position it with another line. So I've created a tangent there. I'm going to do the same over here, and you can kind of see what I did. So two tangents to connect that U together, and then I'm going to use the offset tool to create the inside of that. And it's not perfect here, I get it, but I can then draw this out to hold everything into place, and then trim off the excess. Okay, so there's my U, and then an L is fairly straightforward. I might fix up that arc there, but an L is going to look, it's just going to go vertical and then follow the lines inside the box. Like that. Okay, I'm going to pause this to fix this real quick. Okay, so I just messed around with the arcs until that was fixed, and now that it is, let's go ahead and add the 3D effect. So the best tools I can tell you to add the 3D effect, if you kind of remember from 1 point perspective, you can draw lines from the tops of the part over to their vanishing points. So like I'm gonna just go here, and I'm just gonna draw lines, and it's gonna really help. I always start with the tops first. So anywhere where I see a corner, I draw a line. And there are going to be a lot of lines there, but you can already see that it's working really nicely. And now because this is in Paint, we can also do it with other sides as well. So I could do it with like the bottom of the P, or the bottom of this A, because we can just use the trim tool afterwards. I'm going to use this A, the inside of it, this leg over here. What else? I guess I could do this part of the U, and this part of the L, and that part of the L. Okay, so I got a ton of lines here, but worry not, it's all good. Let's also draw a line from here, or the thickness of what I'm going to say all my letters are, over to the vanishing point here. So this is like the back, and you can kind of see that. And let's go ahead also and draw something like that. So that's the back of the P. You can already see that the letter P is pretty much already done. And if I just trim out the parts that shouldn't be in there, you're going to see that all I'm left with is that letter P. Okay, so something like that, it's already standing out because we don't need those lines anymore. Something with the A, and something I'd recommend. Let's say I drew a line, because I need to like match that angle, but this works with anything. If I drew a line like this, and I'm not sure if it matches this line, like they don't look parallel, what I'd recommend doing is selecting this line that I don't want to move and putting a lock on it. So click that, and it's going to prevent that from moving. And then use this option here, it's called the parallel constraint. And how it works is you click on, or you click parallel, and then you click on the line, and you click on the line you want to be parallel with that line. So if I click there, you'll notice this line is now parallel with that line. It moved into place, and it's not quite lining up, which is fine. There's another constraint here called the coincident constraint. And how this one works is if you click on a point, and there is another point, so let me actually use the point tool and put a point right there. If you click on a point and then click on another point, it will move it over there. So I moved that A into place. So that's the side of the A, and now I just need to use the trim tool to remove off the excess stuff that I don't need, because you can kind of see that the letter exists, it just might have some things in the way. So just going to trim those off. Okay, so that's the A. Kind of same deal with the U. That angle, this arc's going to be pretty hard to replicate in the way I want, but I'm going to do the best in my ability. I'm also going to draw an additional line here to try to help me see how I can draw this better. So I'm drawing some extra lines to kind of envision what that arc looks like. And it might not be a bad idea to try to offset it. So maybe the offset tool could help like show you what it should look like. So let me offset that part and this part as well. I got to remember that they're not actually connected, even if I kind of want them to be. But let me draw the back of the U. So the back of the U is going to go probably to this line. I didn't really need that one. And that's tricky, but I'm going to use the arc tool and just try and arc it. So maybe something like that. It's not going to be perfect. Arcs are always tricky. And I'm going to trim off or delete the parts that I don't need. So I don't want that to interact with the A. Let me clear it out of there. Okay, that one's fine. That one shouldn't be there. That one shouldn't be there. Yeah. Okay, so that's the U. Whoops. Long lines. Okay, so we can kind of see the U's in place. And then lastly, the L. So, you know, where the back of that is, it's probably right in that corner. I'm going to draw, I guess I don't even need to draw it that far. I'm just going to draw it to there because the U's blocking the way. And then I'm going to trim off the excess so you can see the L in play. And if you wanted to, you could draw, or I could draw a line here and then select this line, lock it, and then use the parallel constraint to make sure these are parallel, and then trim off the excess. Okay, so I'm going to speed through the rest of this so that I can quickly design it, but now it's just a matter of trimming off all the excess lines. And here I am after trimming off all those excess lines. Now it's important to look at things before you head over to Extrude and make sure, like, if you're missing any lines, like I accidentally deleted this vertical line for the U, that you add those in. Make sure you don't have any, you know, gaps or anything. So I could use the coincident here. Make sure those are aligned nicely. And yeah, that your sketches all work, so we can get this hopefully the first time. So if it looks good, finish the sketch. It looks weird. Woo. That looks really cool. And then we're going to extrude it out. So I'd start with the front views and extrude them out like 0.03 or something like that. Then I'd probably, go to extrusion 1 and turn the visibility of the sketch back on. Then I'd probably go for the sides next. Oh, and I messed up here. There's still probably a gap. But extrude those out 0.02. And then extrude out the tops. And any, I guess, internal features. So I guess that and that. Yeah, 0.01. Oh, and I forgot that one. Profile. That one. I guess I'll get these inside ones as well. Okay, so you have like that cool effect. Let me go ahead really quickly fix that L. What's wrong with it? Here. Oh. Amateur mistake. Okay. And then once you've done that, go ahead and add your colors. And If you do it correctly, you should have your 2-point. So let me hide this visibility of this sketch. And there you go. Not perfect, but pretty cool. 2-point perspective name in Autodesk Inventor. Okay, so if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you guys later. Peace.